Hello, welcome back to Jonathan Investigates Women's Football, a completely different type of series today, starting with Senna Robinson. So Senna Robinson is a player of Kidderminster Harriers, and this series will be about Kidderminster Harriers, whether it be a player, coach or someone else within the club. Why Kiddie Harriers? Well, as some of you may know, I do support their social media and have done throughout this season, so I want to put a bit of emphasis on those players and managers and coaches on this channel. I will also continue to do the more generic stuff and the stuff on Switch Sport Radio as well, so nothing changes there. So what can you expect to see on this particular video? Well, I'm just actually on the way to meet Senna right now, somewhere between where she stays in Birmingham and where I live in Stourbridge. So let's see what she has to say. Hello and welcome back. I am with Senna Robinson today of Kidderminster Harriers, something slightly different. It's a bit more of an informal chat. We're actually in Fancley service station at the moment, which is completely random, but it's in between us both. So yeah, I just want to kind of highlight a few Kidderminster Harriers players and so I can get to know them. So that's the title of the show, Get to Know Senna Robinson. So I'm just going to have a bit of a chat about football and maybe things that's not necessarily football related to. So first of all, Senna, thank you very much for joining me today. On the back of yesterday's win as well. What do you think of the game yesterday?
Made it very difficult for ourselves, but we won. We got 3 points. That's what we need. We're now firmly in the title race. So now I think it's just important that sometimes it's not going to be pretty, but as long as we win, then that's the main thing.
Absolutely. I also think that you learned from the mistakes from the Shifnor game, the first game of the season. The character showed in the second half where you did actually be a lot more intense and you had a bit more purpose, and you actually went on to win the game, whereas the first game of the season it kind of like showed that we didn't have that inner strength, or at least we did have it but we just didn't show it maybe. So it's good to show that we actually learned from those things. So just for the people at home, then for the people who may not know you, just a little bit about yourself. What position do you play?
Don't actually know these days. It seems to change every week. I'm kind of a winger, but also a fullback, and sometimes in the 10, and sometimes up front as well.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I remember watching you.
An attacker, really.
You are a forward-minded player. Absolutely. I remember seeing you once at the under-18s game, and you was brought on as like a fullback, and that was like years ago. That was with a different club, and I was thinking, no way. But yeah, it does happen. But yeah, good to see that you are quite versatile. But yeah, we do see you as a forward, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
How long have you been at Kiddie Harriers for?
A few months. I think I joined in October. I want to say, I could be completely wrong then.
Yeah.
I spent the first kind of month or so of the season at Sporting Council, and then I'm at Kiddie on loan. So yeah.
Awesome, yeah. And have you got a highlight of your career so far?
I think I'd maybe say just the entirety of last season. I think the group we had at Stourbridge. I'll try not to say Stourbridge too much in this.
I think it was expected, yeah, absolutely.
It's what most of my football career has been, and it's a huge part of not only football but my life. And yeah, I loved it there the whole season. I think the West Brom game at home, winning 7-2, scoring my first National League goal, I think was special, so I'd say that.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. You mentioned your previous teams, obviously Calcer, you had a few games there. How about before Stourbridge? So you mentioned Stourbridge as well, because it seems like that you've been at Stourbridge for a few years, but really it was only like under 18s and 2 years.
Yeah, it was only 2 years actually. It feels like longer because I feel like so much happened.
Absolutely.
And I developed so much. But before that I was at Worcester City, so we'll play against them in a few weeks, so that'll be fun. I loved it at Worcester. Really great club, I think really forward thinking in terms of women's football, but left to come to Stourbridge.
Yeah, I remember that as well, yeah. Away from football then, what do you get up to when you're not football training or playing football?
Well, I'm at Uni of Birmingham, as you know, studying politics, which is nice to have something that's completely non-football related, so large portions of my week I'm thinking about something that's nothing anywhere near to do with football, which is really nice. And as a lot of people know, I live on a dairy farm back at home, so that's about all I get up to be honest, apart from just kind of uni life, what you might expect.
I think you need to stick a thumbs up on this video if you actually want Senna to do a tour of her dairy farm, because it is something that's fascinated me ever since.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned studying politics as someone that I work with at work. and he studied politics, and with everything that's going on in the media at the moment and everything, it's just such a sensitive subject. So I'm not even going to go down that route. Absolutely.
Separate videos.
Absolutely. So just before we talk a little bit about Kiddie Harriers, just a little bit of a background on you growing up then. So what made you get into football?
Well, I was initially riding horses with my sisters, and then I realised quite early on I didn't want to do that. And it was kind of just the closest thing to me was a boys' team about a mile up the road. So I just started there, and then I don't know, it was started as quite casual. And I think I joined quite late. I think that so many players start when they're like 4 or 5 years old. It's crazy. I think I started playing maybe when I was like 7 or 8.
Okay.
I mean, it's not late, but
it's still young though. Yeah.
Early, but yeah, that's kind of just how it started. Just something to do, keep me occupied. I think my parents wanted me to make sure I was doing something, and then
Yeah.
I'm here.
Was there ever any other sports that took your eye at all?
I think rugby. My mum was a big rugby player, and both my older sisters play rugby.
Okay.
They keep trying to rope me into games. I think I'd really enjoy it, but I don't think it's worth getting injured for. But I love rugby. I love motorsport. Obviously, my name comes from Formula 1 and stuff.
Oh, there we go.
Any sport, I'll watch any sport if it's in front of me. Really.
Yeah. And what did your family think about how your football career is going on? Because obviously it does play a big part of your life. Tuesdays and Thursdays you're training, so that takes time away from other things that you could be doing, studying, for example. Obviously Sundays are taken up. I know your dad's at the games quite a bit. I've seen him in the past. I know he's a big fan of some of the songs that are sang, and maybe we'll get onto that shortly.
Yeah.
But yeah, what did your family think about how your football's getting on?
Yeah, I mean, neither of my parents, to be honest, like football really, or have much interest in it. But they come to games when they can. And I think especially last season when I was playing big names like Wolves and Burnley and Forest and Newcastle, I think it was really cool for them to come and see that something that I put a lot of time into, but you do get a lot out of it. And I think they don't come as often, I think, most parents, but they're both very busy. But I love it when they do come. And my mum was at the game yesterday, so saw me score the free kick, and she was really happy. So it's nice to see them. Because now I'm at uni, I don't as often.
Yeah, that's understandable. And it was a great free kick, by the way. We need to put that on social media for the people who didn't see it.
Yeah.
Banger. I did mention the songs. Particularly what Anthony sang through his Stourbridge career, and obviously it's a song that can be took on in your Kidderminster games as well. There was such a big difference between playing under-18 football with hardly any crowd to suddenly go into Tier 4 women's first team and Tier 3, where you got 300-400 people there singing your name, watching you. How did you kind of jump from under-18s to Tier 4, Tier 3? How did you feel the jump went? Because it was such a big step, wasn't it, to play in front of nobody to everybody, I guess?
Yeah, no, it was a lot, but I think it's really positive, all of it. I think I remember the moment when I played against Lincoln in Tier 4, which was my first team game, having played for the under-18s, and I remember Anthony started singing this song, and I was thinking, who on earth is he? How does he know who I am? And why has he come up with a song?
Yeah.
But no, I think it's really positive. I think I really enjoyed it. I think Tier 4 was definitely a step, but I was quite limited in how much first team involvement in terms of game time I actually got. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, things happened, and I started 3 or 4 consecutive Tier 3 games with very limited Tier 4 experience. I think that was the big jump for me. I felt I was thrown into the deep end, but I loved it. I really did.
Yeah, I've got a few stats here, and the Stourbridge stats are courtesy of Rich Clark. So thank you again, Rich, for still supporting.
Shout out to Rich.
Shout out to Rich, absolutely. So 9 games for Kidderminster Harriers so far. 3 of those are FA Cup, the other 6 would be County Cups or League Cups or League. 4 appearances for Calford at the start of the season, before you actually even started at Kiddie. And then 41 appearances across all of women's sections at Stourbridge. So that's not included under 18s, that is just development team, reserve team and first team. Those are some big numbers, aren't they? What are your thoughts on that? That's like some big numbers at a young age.
Yeah, it's quite big numbers, and I think before I joined Stourbridge I had a year at Worcester City where I was playing for the development and then the first team and under 18 simultaneously. So I think I probably have played quite a lot, but But yeah.
How did that come about then? Like, so when you were playing at Worcester, who was it that first identified you at Stourbridge, or was it vice versa? Did you want to make that move? How did that work out?
I think it was Matt Guys, who's now at Kiddie.
Yeah.
So full circle.
Okay.
I think he came. I only found out months later. He came to one of the Worcester Devs game in Tier 7, some random team we played. I can't remember. I think I scored a few goals. And then messaged in the summer for me to come to the 18s, and in my head I was going to stay at Worcester Tier 5, play under 18s, and then I was introduced to Mike, who I think took to me quite quickly and kind of saw something in me.
I remember that.
And I think kind of deep down when I knew I was going to the 18s, I knew who Stourbridge first team were. I knew they'd just won the league. I kind of held out hope that might happen, and then I guess it was kind of Mike that brought me over to the women's, and
yeah, I do. I remember that transition, and it was great when we found out, or when I found out that you moved across completely, because obviously you was very well thought of, and I used to watch the under 18s, and to see you move across was a real big boost for Stourbridge, especially the pathway. It also showed what in the area what else they could do, and players that they could attract as well. So yeah, real good news there. Throughout your playing career, is there anyone that you've looked up to? So you could talk about people on TV, but I'm on about like players that you might have played with as well. Is there anyone that you kind of looked up to and wanted to replicate or learn off?
I think maybe the first one that comes to mind is Zoe Clark.
Okay.
I think who's unfortunately out at the minute with an injury. But I loved playing with Zoe last season. I think there's a goal she scored against West Brom in the 7-2 win.
Yeah.
And I think she runs past 3 or 4 players, puts it in the bottom corner, and I think I'm just stood there, like haven't attempted to make a run. I haven't done anything. I'm just kind of stood there, I think, with my hands on my head, like what have I just seen? Yeah. And she does that, and off the pitch, she's such a great person. She's so humble, and she's just lovely. And the way she's kind of dealt with this injury, I can't imagine how hard it is for her. And she was there yesterday. I said hi to her again. She's lovely. I've got a lot of love for Zoe.
I think a lot of people have, haven't they?
You won't meet someone that says a bad word about her personality-wise, footballing-wise. Maybe another one is Lexi Harrison.
Okay.
So I think I'll play against her on Sunday. She's now at Port Vale. She's unbelievable as an athlete. I think she's someone that I definitely look up to on the physical side of things. Right. And I definitely see what she does out of possession and off the ball, and I just wish I could have that bit of tenacity, and hopefully I can kind of learn that.
Oh, that's great. It's you mentioned a few names there, and Zoe Clark obviously done that against Albion. Done it against Stoke as well last year, the 2-2 draw. You also had a good game against Albion as well, though. There's an iconic photo of you. What was your recollection of that game?
Not a lot. I think it's quite blurry, to be honest, but I came on for DZ. She's another one that I haven't mentioned, but lovely DZ. Came on. I think I had a chance quite early on, and I didn't get my shot off quick enough, and it went wrong, and I was so angry. But then chance fell for me. I couldn't really miss, but that didn't change how it felt. It was such a good feeling, and I think it would take a really, really special goal in a special game to kind of beat how I felt in that moment. Yeah,
and Andy Fisher was at that game as well, wasn't he? And so his first game back at the War Memorial Ground. So yeah, it was a very memorable night. Harry O'Neill is someone who's watched you grow for the last 3 years roughly. Played a big part of your development. When I think of Harry, I think of someone who wants to enjoy himself, who spreads positive vibes, who's a good trainer, who can develop people. How would you describe Kidderminster's head coach, Harry O'Neill?
Can I swear on this? No, I'm joking. No, I really like Harry. I'd say he was probably the biggest factor in me coming to Kidding. Yeah. In that when I went to Calcer and wasn't really sure how my football was going, I think he was always there for me. Partly from a come to Kidding point of view, but also just as a person. I met him when I was 16, and he's seen me develop as a player, as a person. He's really been there for me, and he was the one that kind of reassured me that look, Tier 3's not going anywhere. Your ambitions to play there's not going anywhere. Come and enjoy your football at Kidding, and I just trust that he was always going to take care of me. You know, tactically he's brilliant. He's getting a lot out of me. I think now. Playing me in different positions, both him and Fisher. Initially I was a bit mortified, but actually it's worked out really well, and that's because I've just trusted him. I've got a lot of love for Harry. He's great guy.
Yeah, good to hear. Yeah, he's fantastic and really good with the group. I mean, I saw it last night and I've seen it for many years. He just is a real good people person, isn't he?
Yeah.
So he's learned off the people around him. He's learned the tactics off maybe one person. He's learned like analysis off another people person, off somebody else, and brought his own vibe to it as well. And he's growing as a coach. You know, he's absolutely fantastic. I agree.
Yeah, he could have a conversation with a chair. He could, honestly, he's such a people person. He talks to everyone all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's done some work, media work. He's great on the media side as well.
Yeah.
You share the front line with Mia Badland, Eloise Harris, Neil Rogers, Amber Lawrence, others. How good is it to be in such good company at this squad? Because you look at the squad and it's not a tier 5 squad in my opinion, and I really hope that you go on to win the league because it's, you know, player for player, you deserve to. But how good is it to share the pitch with some of those players?
Yeah, no, it's great. I think I've always been quite spoiled in women's football with who I've been able to play with. I think, yeah, it's always been great, but they're all fantastic as players, but as people, again, I can't reiterate how good the group is at Kiddie. Like, we all genuinely like each other, which is nice.
Yeah, it helps.
And no, we just play so well. I mean, Milne, I played with before, but Mia, Eloise, Lamb played with before, Beth as well. It just clicks.
Yeah, of course, Beth. Was that a Kelso then, would that have been? Or where did you play with Beth?
Oh no, I haven't, but I play with her now. But again, we have both been at Kelso, so we've got a lot of
common.
And we seem to play a different formation every week, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where we're kind of put. We always link up and connect well. And yeah, no, I love it. Yeah, great. And Andy Fisher, I was going to say one thing, and then I'll just let you speak about it. What a motivational speaker he is. Yeah, no, he is super. I'd say I haven't been at Kiddie very long, but I'd already say I think Fisher's my favourite manager I've played under. So I didn't get much time with him at Starbridge, but he's great. I think at half time yesterday is a great example.
Yeah.
I think we needed to be shouted at, and we were.
Yeah.
But he has a way of turning it into motivation and belief in ourselves. And I think Starbridge and Blackburn this season in the FA Cup were both huge games that were so dependent on morale and just belief that we could perform. And yeah, no, I think Fisher's brilliant at that. I think I annoy him a lot. I think I frustrate the hell out of him. But when I don't, I think we get on really well. And yeah, no, I think as a motivational speaker, he's the best I've seen.
You mentioned the half-time talk. I wasn't involved in that, but I was at the start of the game.
Yeah.
And even looks like, you know, while he was giving that, like some of those tactics just at the start of the game, he just grips me. And I don't know if that's just because I'm a fan and I don't really listen to those things very often. But even at the start of the game, I was just like in awe, and I do whenever I hear him talk. So I can see why, you know, he does encourage and engage so many people because he's such a great speaker.
Yeah.
It's fair to say that the arrival of Andy Fisher this season for Kiddie Harriers has pushed Kiddie on to the next level. Where do you see, if things carry on the way that they are, where do you kind of see Kiddie in like the next 3 years?
Tier 3? No, I'm joking. Maybe. Definitely National League. I think that's where we deserve to be. I think the amount of hours we put in and they put in.
Yeah.
And I think we prepare for every game like a Tier 4 side. So hopefully in at least Tier 4, and who knows where we could be. I think the squad changes so rapidly.
Yeah.
So we don't know who's going to be here. We don't know anything, but I think Kiddie's got something really good now in terms of like ethos and culture at the club. I think culture's been a really prominent word in women's football recently. And we've definitely got something good. So regardless of what league we're in, I think Kiddie's always going to have a really good group of people, and I think that's most important.
No, I thoroughly agree. I can't say much more than that because the culture is fantastic, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, well, thank you very much for joining me, Senna, and best of luck for the remainder of the season.
Yeah, thank you. See you soon.